Right. All right. We're going to call the Star City Council meeting to order. It's December 15th, 2020 at 7 p.m. I'd like to have you all please stand with me and do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we're going to have an invocation tonight by Mr. Jason Myers. He's a bishop of the Stars First Ward of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I appreciate you coming tonight, sir.
Thank you. Our dear, kind, and gracious Heavenly Father, we're grateful for the opportunity that we have to meet tonight and to hold this Star City Council. Our dear Heavenly Father, we ask that thou would please bless those that are in attendance, those that are participating, that thy Spirit may be with them. We're mindful of the calamities that are in front of us, but we're also mindful of the miracles that have taken place. Grateful for the optimism for our future, and would ask that thou would continue to bless us with comfort and strength and the ability to press forward. Heavenly Father, we ask a blessing to be upon those in our community who may be sick or afflicted at this time. Please watch over and protect them. Help us that we may be mindful of ways that we can serve and help in our community, and bless those that lead us, both civilly and religiously, that they may be watched over and protected. We love thee and are grateful for all that thou hast given us, and we say these things humbly in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Roll call.
Councilman Nielsen.
Here.
Councilwoman Solmonson.
Here.
Councilman Keys.
Present.
Councilman Hershey.
Here. Okay, all present. I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved. Second.
We got a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Mr. Mayor. Oh, no, sorry, wrong one.
Okay. Any further discussion?
Nope.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that motion carries. Entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Keys.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda consisting of items number 5A, regular meeting minutes of November 17th and December 1st, 2020. And item 5B, findings of fact and conclusion of law for North Terrace subdivision, annexation and zoning development agreement, preliminary plat and private street, Craftman Estates North rezone or preliminary plat, and Star River Ranch private street and gate.
Okay, we got a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
We got a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Mr. Mayor,
Councilwoman.
in the Norterra subdivision, there does need to be a condition added to per staff's recommendation. Let's see. Do you want me to read it?
Yeah, go ahead and read it.
Okay. The lots 2-13, block 1 and 1 through 8, block 2, maintain the required 15-foot rear setback to be consistent and compatible with the adjacent residential lots to the north within the Saddlebrook subdivision.
Okay. We got that on the staff. Okay, do we need to amend our motion to accept the changes?
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Keys.
I'd like to amend my motion accordingly.
Okay, Dave.
My second's
Okay,
amended as well.
we got a amended motion, amended second. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that motion carries. Okay, we're going to move on to presentations. We have Ms. Tina Wilson from the Western Alliance for Economic Development to give us an update. And if you, make sure that mic's down there by your face. There
I will.
too.
I'm just acknowledging the holiday. How's that? So,
Hey, that's okay. You can leave those on.
I will. Thank you for giving me a little bit of space on your agenda today. I know it's generally always packed, so thank you. I just wanted to report back to you, as I was mentioning, as we've talked about in the past, the broadband grant is complete and all of the paperwork duly filed for reimbursement with the state yesterday. And I think compared to some of the other projects that I worked on for this went very smoothly and we had really good partners. So I think Mary did a good job finding us some partners that would really work well, Fat Beam and Egnetics. So I want to thank you for that. I want to just briefly give you a little annual report for the Western Alliance in the last year. It's this time of year. I'll just do really bullet point. Gave direct business development services to over 50 businesses in the region. Handled 19 business attraction projects. Of course, worked with the COVID Relief CARES Act, PPP, and the EDL. So I worked with 15 businesses to help them acquire that. Overall, through the course of the year, I did write 10 grants that were awarded for a total of $2,368,420. It's a very good grant year, and we're already spinning up for the next one. Been giving assistance to 9 community organizations, including the Star Chamber, and have been able to mentor 4 different colleagues through the course of the year and helping them do with economic development in other directions. And then we have our industry initiatives. I help work with the Sunny Slope Wine Trail, and I have reached out to our local winery. Hope to be working with them on some of the same things. Still working on the reformation of the Economic Development District, which will be, we kind of took a hiatus there for the bit of COVID, but we've started back in on that. In fact, more meetings this week. And then working with comp plans with the City of Notice in Gem County. So, which leads me into my question for you is, what do you want me to work on for you next? Economic development tools, urban renewal districts, central business districts, working on those type of things are all things that I have experience with and open to help. I'll continue to work with the chamber, but I thought I would hear from you. What do you want me to focus on next?
So I think we're going to bring you in to talk about the urban renewal.
Okay.
Have you discuss it, and then we're going to bring in our attorneys that do that also to discuss it with us, so we have a clear understanding of what that is and what it entails, and you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
We're so, I guess all of us up here are raw because it's not something we've done here in the city of Star, so we need to understand that a little bit if that's an avenue that we decide to go down. So.
I think it's education becomes key when you are working with your community, you as a council and your staff to understand, economic, urban renewal districts over the years sometimes have gotten a really bad rap. There's a right way to do it and there's a wrong way to do it. And one of the very first things that's important is that communication / education piece. And I have worked closely, got a lot of information from Lisa Holland, who they just successfully put together CUNA's Urban Renewal District. And then also I worked a lot with, do a lot of work with Steve Folds. So 2 very successful urban renewal districts. And so I'm really happy to help you. Just let me know when you're ready to move in that direction.
For the education part, yeah.
Yeah, so.
Perfect.
Absolutely. And other than that, have a happy holiday.
Well,
And are there any other questions?
I think-
Mr. Mayor?
Hang on one sec.
Sorry. Mayor
Ms.
Chadwick.
Hamilton.
I think the pathway committee may have looking for some grant opportunities to expand pathways. You think is that something that you could help with?
I actually, not necessarily with the Pathways Committee, but I have done several, what they used to call the Safe Routes to Schools. And during that time, sat on their grantee review committee. And so actually reviewed grants for sections of the Greenbelt and working with the TAP program and LTAC. So yes, I can help you in that direction. What would be, maybe shoot me an email, when's your next meeting? And I'll try and be at that. And we'll see if we can figure out some stuff.
Okay, and then possibly like beautification as well.
Yeah,
Or-
yeah.
Okay. Will
So-
do. Sounds great.
Pick her
Thank you.
brain, see
Yeah.
what, see what,
Yeah.
see what we can find there. Okay, Councilman Keys?
Mr. Mayor, thank you. I think along that same vein, the Transportation Committee would be interested in seeing if we could locate sources of funds to fill sidewalk gaps, which are not quite pathways, but kind of the kiss and cousin of pathways, especially along our routes to school, because we have many routes to school that we just don't have sidewalks on our
Right.
collectors and potential arterials.
That's a really good grant to, so the program that works with that is the TAP grant, Technical Assistance Program.
Okay.
And that was one of the grants I wrote this year with Emmett. I work with your engineer, which is Keller, one of the
Correct.
folks from Keller. And interestingly enough, the grant I wrote with Emmett was with Keller also. But that deadline is coming up really quick. So if that's on your radar, that's like we should have started last week if you haven't.
We do have a transportation committee meeting tomorrow morning at 8:30.
I could be there for a little while. I have a business attraction appointment at 9 a.m. I did make them come to Star. We're going to Bobby Jean's. They're like, where do you want to meet? Oh, we're going to meet in Star. So yeah, where is that meeting at, Michael?
It's in the little conference room next to Sean's office.
Okay. I can pop in and say hello real quick before I head over to Bobby
I can
Jean's.
get with you offline too. We can talk about
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
And are you done? Sorry.
I'm not. So the mayor mentioned urban renewal districts and some education, but I suspect there may be other tools in a toolbox that we're not familiar with. And so when we have that conversation, maybe we could have a discussion about, other things that we might consider. Maybe we can just do a brief discussion of our goals, and maybe there's some things that you think we ought to know to support that.
I think that would help to have, I would say if we could set some time, do a half an hour. I could take 10 to 15 minutes. I have a little short, what are the tools of economic development and what I can bring to you as a city. And then have that open conversation with you to answer your questions, hear what I've been, obviously reading the plans that are online and I've had some conversations, but to have a dedicated conversation, I think we could at least get a good starting solid point on what direction to go next with about a half an hour.
So we can set up a meeting in January, do you think? Or-
Yes.
Okay.
I will be, yeah. So I am going to go visit my daughter in Minnesota. I'll be back on the 4th.
Okay.
But if you want me to put some time in shoot me a date or
I'll shoot some stuff to you.
send me
We'll
some
get
stuff
that
and
up.
we'll figure it out.
Okay.
So-
And then one more item. You mentioned central business districts, and we're getting ready to do some work on creating an architectural overlay district for our CBD. And I wonder if you'd be able to review that document as it really starts to come together to see if there's something we should add or not add to it.
I actually would love to be involved in the conversation.
Okay.
It helps me after it's created, it helps me to hear what your conversation is and what directions that you want to go. And it allows me to look into my toolbox and see what I can bring to the table to help you accomplish that. So I have to tell you, even though I'm rural economic development, I was involved with Destination Caldwell continually from when Roger Brooks came and did that initial presentation all the way through to the opening of Indian Creek Plaza because of my association with the Sunny Slope Wine Trail. And so with that, and continue to work with Destination Caldwell. So I haven't been an organizer of a central business district, but I will tell you that for my knowing that there was something like that coming down, my work plan with the Department of Commerce includes for me setting aside time and using their resources to help create such a thing for Star.
Okay. Have you been invited to participate in the south of the river sub-area plan we're working on?
Not
No.
yet. No one's been invited yet. Just so you're aware. Not going to happen until January.
So yeah, I'm very much open to that and would love to be involved in it.
Okay. And other than that, enjoy Minnesota in December and
Oh,
January.
they don't have any snow yet. Can you believe it? Might change tomorrow, I'm sure, but
So real quick, I just want to
Okay.
thank you for your help and all your efforts for that grant, because that went really smoothly on our end internally as well. It seemed like it went really flowed well.
Yeah.
And to get that thing set up a couple days earlier than what we anticipated,
right.
right, was awesome. So,
Yeah, I think, yes, I have worked, I've been doing grants for Western Alliance for 8 years now. And I would say it was one of the smoothest ones that I had. So it was
perfect.
pretty
That's
good.
what we like to
So,
hear.
I know.
Thank you.
So, all right, I'll see y'all in January and Mayor and I will continue to talk. Michael, if you'll, I'll try and be here at 8:30 in the morning. And Jennifer, let me know about pathways and we'll see where we're going. So, all right, thank you.
Okay, Barbara, someone made a post that they can't see us online. How do we fix that so they can see us up in the little box instead of Chris's name? Yeah, is the video turned on? But can you see us? On the, usually it shows us on the video. Yeah, everything else is working. It's just not seeing us on here.
Recording can be audio or video. But we need to just make sure that our camera is turned on.
Is there a little green, can you see a green light off to the right of that?
Yeah.
So that is on. So there's something there, I think, at that.
Well, that means the power is on. It doesn't mean in Zoom.
Well, right, that's what I mean.
it's turned on.
I think it right here needs to be turned on that little unit. Oh, there we go. Oh, wait. So start your video. Yeah, show on our, there we go. Now we can see the room on the bottom. Okay, thank you. Now we're good. Okay, now we're going to move on to item 6B, the Beautification Committee Service Award. Are you presenting tonight?
Yes, I am.
All right.
Thank you. I'm Chip Sitton with the Pathways of Beautification Committee, second year on the committee, and it is time for us to award the quarterly Beautification Committee Service Award. This quarter's recipient was nominated by Michael Keys. Attributes he mentioned are Mike is a person who's generous with his time, passionate for his service, and volunteered in many roles in STAR. He's the past chair of the STAR Beautification and Public Relations Committee. Volunteered to be STAR's unofficial photographer at many STAR events, fundraisers for worthy cause in STAR through his SWIBA role, Southwest Idaho Business Alliance. He's found many ways to contribute to the city of STAR since the day he moved here. And his public service has been demonstrated through what was noted above, and has expressed leadership by chairing many of these efforts. And how has he enhanced the quality of life? The community still derives pleasure from many of the photographs he has taken. I can testify that through Lions Club. And this actual award was his brainchild from the Beautification and Pathways Committee. So at this time, I would like to present the quarterly award to Mike Olson.
All right. Pictures.
Everyone.
Yep, I'll come down.
And whoever wants to. Definitely. Not to buy the drink, but if you want to come down here.
You gotta thin it up though.
I do, quick few words. Hey, thank you. First of all, thank you, Mr. Keys. I find it a bit embarrassing to get an award for being a good steward of my community, but I sure do appreciate it. Want to acknowledge those that really deserve the recognition, and that's everybody that served with me under the BCR committee for 3 years. Trevor was our liaison. Michael Keys was our liaison. We got a lot done. Secondly, to my 10 co-directors of the Southwest Idaho Business Alliance, they've really been the backbone of everything we've done. A couple of them are here, David Hershey, Sean Nickel. To paraphrase what a former mentor of mine said, it's the team that fills the sails with wind, and I simply steer the ship. And I'm really proud of everybody that has helped me out going. So thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you, Chip. All right, we're gonna move on to item 7A. The public hearing for the Moyle Estate subdivision number 2, annexation and zoning, development agreement and preliminary plat. Just real quick here, I'm gonna just talk about the public hearing process. I'll open the public hearing and ask the council if they have any ex parte contact. The applicant has 20 minutes to present their project. The council can ask the applicant questions and staff questions during that time. Public testimony will be 3 minutes per person. Council can ask the individual speaking questions, and that does not count towards their 3 minutes. The applicant has about a 10-minute rebuttal. And council will ask the applicant and staff questions. I will close the public hearing, and then we'll move to deliberations, which the deliberation could be a motion to approve of conditions, deny or table the application to a date certain in the future. So we do have folks, I believe, here in person, right, Sean? And we have folks online that will be testifying. So we're going to do the folks that are here in person first, and then we will move to the folks online. Okay, so this is the top part's the in-person folks, right? Oh, you wrote that on there. It's right there. So we're going to open this public hearing, and I'm going to ask the council, is there any ex parte contact or communication on this project?
Mr.
None.
Okay, hearing none. Is Miss Becky in here? Oh, there she is. And you have a PowerPoint, I believe, correct? Oops. Okay, the floor is yours, Miss Becky. And I believe the clicker's up there that you can advance the slide yourself.
Really? We're getting
Yeah.
high techy over here. Wow.
It's a $3 high-tech item right there.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. I'm Becky McKay with Engineering Solutions, business address 1029 North Rosario in Meridian. I'm here representing West Beacon Light LLC on this particular application. Get my stuff organized here.
Hey, you know what, Becky, hang on one sec. We're gonna take a 5-minute recess real quick because she's got to go make a phone call
Oh, that's fine.
on something that happened here real quick. And then
Absolutely.
if she has to
I'll be right
leave, we'll leave and we'll continue without her. If not, I want her here to hear it.
Sure.
So, okay?
Yes, sir. That'll help me get my ducks in order here. What's that? You've never heard me sing. You never will. Not one of my assets.
Sorry, a few more minutes here. We'll find out what's happening here in just a sec. You don't want me to sing.
Oh, I think he asked if he said there was a video. He asked it before. So we got it.
quick.
Okay, so hang on one sec. We'll get this going here again. And we're still live, right? Okay, so we're good? Okay, all right, so we're going to continue on with the public hearing. Go ahead, Becky, we'll start over on that, so apologize for that.
That's okay. Becky McKay with Engineering Solutions, 1029 North Rosario. I'm here representing West Beacon Light LLC on the property that's before you. The subject property is located just to the west of Pollard Lane. This is Pollard, and then north of Beacon Light. The natural, obviously, continuation of development that's along the Wing Road corridor with Trident Ridge, Greendale Grove, Greendale subdivision. You have the Torchlight subdivision right here. And then you guys just approved this Sunfield subdivision here. There's a proposed development, River Valley Landing, that I believe you sent back for redesign and deferred to February. So as you can see, it's kind of a natural transition or continuation to the east as far as development is concerned. What's before you this evening is 28.09 acres. We are requesting annexation of this parcel here to an R3 designation with 74 single-family dwellings and 12 common lots. The property varies in elevation. There's about a 15-foot elevation difference from north to the lowest point on the southern boundary. However, the change in elevation is not any impediment to development. The property is currently developed with one single-family home, some existing accessory buildings, and then the remainder has been in agricultural production with wheel lines on it for years. On your existing comprehensive plan land use map at the time the project was submitted, it was designated neighborhood residential, which allows for up from between 3 and 5 dwelling units per acre. The R3 designation that we're requesting is in compliance with that. The proposed gross density on the project is less than 3. It's 2.72 dwelling units per acre. So we did not maximize, obviously, the density on this property. The lots, let me switch over. That gives you the colored rendering. So in developing the subdivision, obviously we have the arterial buffer here. We'll be expanding the Beacon Light roadway, 17 feet of additional pavement from center line, 5-foot detached walk. We've worked with Ada County Highway District. Initially, our entrance was here in the middle of the property. We moved that entrance to the western boundary. That allowed us to be 692 feet from the proposed entrance of River Creek Landing, and then beyond 660 feet to Sunfield's Field's entrance. So we do meet Ada County Highway District policy for offsets along the Beacon Light corridor. The speed limit along here is 40 miles per hour. We did evaluate the site distance as far as moving our access to the western boundary here. At 40 miles an hour, I believe it's 425 feet site distance in both directions, and we do meet or exceed that. So we'll have a landscaped entrance as we come up into the subdivision, and then we have 2 cul-de-sacs. We have this one and the second cul-de-sac. We have a lateral that comes into the site, comes across the Maidenford property from Headgate 125. It has the West Emmett lateral that's in a 12-inch pipe here, and then it's open ditch and then runs down through the property, and that feeds Star Acres. And then it splits here, sends 60 inches on what they call the East Emmett lateral, which runs down this eastern boundary, and then it comes in here, and there's a little settling pond, and then goes south across Beacon Light. We have been working with the adjoining neighbors. We've met with Gary Maidenford at his property. My clients has met with Mr. Gillis and the other property owner to the south of him. And then I've talked to Mr. Fletcher that owns this property here. We have agreed that we will pipe this lateral all the way down. And then once it comes into our linear open space, then it'll be open. And then we will have this kind of a natural riparian area. We do have a pathway that links both these cul-de-sacs and comes down to Beacon Light. There's the 12-inch pipe here. I went out and met with Sam Rostai, who's president of the Farmers Union Canal. He said the 12-inch pipe has been problematic, and then the open ditch and Star Acres has had some issues with getting their allotted water rights. So we've agreed to replace all of this 12-inch pipe that's here with a 15-inch pipe, and then we'll go ahead and we'll pipe it through and over to Barbara Moyle's property so that it can continue on to Star Acres. As far as our access to the pressure irrigation, it comes off the Farmers Union Canal to the north. That's Headgate 1, I think it's 125.
Hey, Becky, can you pull down that microphone towards you a little bit?
Yes, sorry. And so our pump station will be up on the Farmers Union Canal, and then that water is piped down right through here. And then it splits and goes over to Barbara Moyle and to Carrie Knotts. I've met with Carrie on 3 different occasions to coordinate with her. And I'll kind of go through that in just a second. As far as our lot sizes, are concerned, we have lots ranging from 8,398 square feet all the way up to 20,765 square feet. So our larger lots are along adjoining these larger acreages here. And then we have this common lot located here. Our average lot size within this development is 10,668 square feet. And as I indicated, we've got 2.72 dwelling units per acre. Our lots range in 75 to 80 feet in width and in depth from 121 to 151. So obviously we have a variety of lot sizes that can accommodate different types of homes. We anticipate that this will be built in 2 phases. And our central amenity is located right here at this location. And I'll switch to this. We have a playground proposed. We have a picnic shelter, benches, and that central open space is on 1.13 acres. Let me switch. This kind of gives you another overview of what the central amenity will look like with the picnic shelters, the benches, and the playground equipment. Here's a copy of the plat that should be in your packet. Shows you the various square footages of the lots, which I've indicated, average around over 10,000 square feet. Switch over to this. This is the property as you look to the east along the Beacon Light corridor. Here's the property as you look to the west along Beacon Light also. This is looking north. You can see the property was in agricultural development. These are the proposed homes that will be in this project. This is the street scene that you see. We anticipate that these homes will range from 400s up to the lower $600,000. So these will be your, what I call upper end type homes. I have some individual pictures. These will be 3-car garages. We'll have a combination of single story, 2-story. They obviously have a lot of our articulation, modulation in their elevations, along with masonry, different types of materials to give it kind of a variety look. This here is a 2-story with a 2-car garage. Here you can see this is a 3-story. And then we are not asking for any variations from your setbacks. Single story will be 5 foot, 2-story will be 10 foot. Whoops, getting excited. Oh, wow. I got heavy handed here. I'm not used to your new equipment. So one of the things that I wanted to chat with the council about are, there it is, the bonus rooms. A lot of the single story homes now have like a bonus room that's over the garage. So basically that room is integrated into the roof truss structure. The city of Eagle allows us to, if we have a single story home and then we have a bonus room just above the garage, like you see here, they consider that a single story dwelling. So I wanted to obviously bounce that off the council, because they said, you know, technically it is a single story height and you're utilizing that truss system here for like a playroom for kids, or an additional family room upstairs. So I wanted to kind of mention that to the council and have you guys think about that. Here's back to the landscape plan. I have reviewed the different agency letters. ITD has sent a letter to the council indicating that about 3.24% of the traffic going through the Beacon Light and Highway 16 intersection would be from this development at build out. So they are requesting that we mitigate for our impact on that intersection for an upgrade that will be necessary, they're saying in 2025. They do have estimated our proportionate share to be approximately 66,520. However, we do want our traffic engineer Kittleson to submit their analysis. And it says in the ITD under item 4, ITD is willing to accept trip distribution numbers provided by Compass or a licensed civil engineer. So I guess your conditions of approval do not have any dollar amount. I ask that the council not specify the dollar amount, just indicate that we will comply with ITD requirements once that number is solidified based on our traffic engineer's analysis of our trip distribution. In your packet should be an Ada County Highway District staff report. I did work closely with ACHD on making sure that this particular project meets all their standards. We are in agreement with their staff report. Mr. Mayor, I apologize. When we submitted the application, we showed a 33 back-to-back street section with 5-foot detached walks and parkways. We are willing, as indicated in the staff report, to upgrade those to 36 back-to-back with 5-foot detached walks and 8-foot parkways on all local streets. We don't have any issues with the staff report or the conditions. I have coordinated with Farmers Union Ditch Company, met with Sam Rostai on a couple occasions. We drove the property, drove the canal bank, looked at all of the deliveries and head gates. We will comply with all the conditions as listed in Mr. Kaiser's letter. We reviewed the Keller and Associates provisions. I did prepare a letter to Ryan Morgan that addressed the item 1 and 2 that he wanted modifications to the preliminary plat prior to the council reviewing or approving it. I have provided that to Ryan and to your staff. As far as the fire department, we have been coordinating with Chief Tominski on our access. Obviously, we have one singular access here with an island. And then we're allowed up to 30 dwelling units on one point of ingress and egress. We have an easement that comes out. It is a recorded easement that comes out to the west and connects over to Wing Road through the Hayden Homes property. That may be utilized as our secondary access according to the applicant's conversations with Chief Tominski. Does the council have any questions that I could answer? Open space, I forgot to answer that. As far as our open space, we are at 5.08 acres. We're over 18% total open space. Our qualified open space is at 12%.
Okay. Questions of the applicant?
Mr. Mayor.
Councilman Keys?
So when I look at projects like this, we typically see more stub streets required from ACHD. And I read the staff report about what they want you to do along Barbara's property, but I'm curious why they're not asking for stub streets anywhere else.
If we go back to the aerial photo, it's kind of hard to see with the lights on. We have a stub street that goes to the north. I did a layout with Mr. Maidenford. He has about 4.5 acres on his western side of his property that he thinks may redevelop at some point in time. The layout that's conducive is bringing the stub street in from the west, right here on his west boundary. And then it'd be a cul-de-sac, and then he'd have to fill the pond, have to be structural fill, and then there would be lots off of it. So I sent that concept to ACHD for their review. Initially, they had asked for a stub street here. The properties that are along the eastern boundary, there is a bench right here. So topographically, they dropped dramatically off, and the majority of these lots is along Pollard. So from looking at that, it didn't make any sense to stub out to these properties. I talked to Mr. Fletcher here. He indicated that he intends to possibly either sell or develop this property. He has frontage here on Beacon Light and on Pollard. But like I said, there's a big bench right here. And so these properties, considering their depth, will go out to Pollard Lane. So that's why you're not seeing more stub streets. As far as the Knott's property here, this street will come up. They access their property via an easement that goes down to Beacon Light. We will be providing a public street along their frontage and creating public street frontage for them. We've also recognized that they have a well that's off their property that's on an easement. We're coordinating with her on special fencing because they do have animals. I have 2 larger lots that back up to her. One of the things we discussed was keeping those lots larger and just keeping it down to 2 lots. We will also coordinate the piping and redo, this box needs replaced, and that's how they get their irrigation water. The other issue is there's overhead power easement comes through this property, feeds their lot with overhead power. So when we bring power in underground, then at my client's expense, we will hire an electrician to bring the power underground to her house, replace that box that's now connected to overhead, so it's underground at our sole expense. And then we'll provide a sewer and a water stub to her. We have also approached them about purchasing the property, but have not got anywhere with that at this point. But I've met with multiple owners to make sure that they were pleased, they were happy with the transitional lot sizing, the pathways. We've got a lot of pedestrian pathways. We also provided access. There's a 10-foot lot right here, so they can get access to their box and turn their water into their site. So that would just be for their sole usage and for Barbara's.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any further questions of the applicant?
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Hershey?
Yeah, Ms. McKay, could you go to one of those site maps that show the lots? Just for easier reference.
Mm,
Point it over here. Is it stuck?
I think so.
That'll work.
This one right here?
You want,
Any of them will work.
yes, sir.
The, I'm just trying to figure this out. On the, make sure I got my bearings. On the east and south, it looks like there's a buffering or space between the lots. About how many feet is that?
Along
Well, let's-
Beacon Light Road.
Yeah, let's start with the south.
Are you talking
Um,
right here?
Yeah, right there and there,
This is 35 feet
to the road.
to the edge of right-of-way.
Okay.
I allocated right-of-way, additional right-of-way, but in the ACHD report, they indicated that they don't need additional right-of-way. So I'll put that in the buffer, so it will be greater than 35 feet, which is your requirement under your UDC. Over here on this eastern boundary, that particular lot is, I believe, 1.1 acres. And then I have a pathway that connects to these two cul-de-sacs, comes up, connects here. And then we'll come in here, we're gonna work with the landscape architect to come in and create kind of a natural riparian area. And Sam indicated that they had to maintain that settling pond because they get too much sediment coming down the pipe and it needs to settle out there. So we're working with them on that. As far as the width of that, that is 100 feet wide.
Thank you.
And then I have a ped path here. And then we have ped paths that come up here.
In the paths, will they be paved?
They'll either be paved or concrete.
Okay.
And then as far as Barbara's property over here, ACHD is asking us to take our right of way right up to the boundary. So then if her property redevelops, she will connect to our street. And then we would share this primary access here.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Mayor Chadwick,
Councilman Nielsen?
Ms. McKay on the second story
Bonus rooms?
bonus room, yeah, on that. Those don't change the roof line or roof level at all, is that correct?
No.
Okay. Could you go back to that picture of where you demonstrated that, or Mayor, could you do that?
I'll do it real quick. Did that get turned off? I wonder.
There it is,
That one.
right there. Yeah. So, Mr. Mayor, Councilman Nielsen, yeah, we've had this discussion in Eagle because they require 7.5 feet for a single story, 5 feet for the second story. They have allowed us because that's integrated into the roof system and not technically a two-story home, that the single story setback is applicable as long as that is integrated like that and over the garage. And the remainder of the home is all single story.
Is there always a trade-off between the bonus room and the driveway? I'm just kidding. There's just no driveway in the picture.
Oh, that's because this is, yeah,
I
it
was
took
like,
me a
what?
second. It took me a second. This is a model home. So they, oh, yeah, that, you got to pay more for the driveway.
Okay.
Yes, sir. This is the model home, so they always landscape it because,
Yeah.
and then they'll put the driveways in. I'm
Sure.
sorry.
no
And
worries.
these models are Sterling Ranch in Cuna and Carriage Hill West in Nampa. The models that I showed you.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Any further questions?
Mayor Chadwick.
Councilwoman?
I have just a couple, thank you. I noticed in your narrative that you submitted that you have a reference towards the applicant has retained natural resource solutions to continue groundwater monitoring on the site. Can you explain that? Is that, yeah, can you explain that?
Yes, absolutely. Ada County Highway District requires that we dig test holes on every project and that we monitor for a period of 1 year. And that has to go from high seasonal groundwater, which is typically September and October, and it has to cover the whole year. And then we utilize that data when we do our storm drainage design. This particular property has no high groundwater. We dug down to 11 feet and everything was dry. So we have no groundwater, we have no wetlands. And then that geotech report is also required to be submitted with our preliminary plats
Okay, so there's no issue with the groundwater. Okay,
issues
just the
whatsoever.
year
Yeah,
requirement.
We,
Okay.
we do have some locust trees along the north boundary that adjacent to the West Emmett lateral. Some of them have fallen over when I was out there with Mr. Rostai. He indicated that if we're gonna pipe that, he wanted some of those trees removed so the roots don't get into the pipe. And they're in pretty bad shape. There are some trees that are kind of on the border of Carrie Knott's property. What I told Carrie, she wants to keep, there's some roses and then some trees that are on that boundary that we would work with her to coordinate, have our landscape architect evaluate the health of the trees. Obviously, if a tree is diseased or towards the end of its life span, then it becomes a hazard because with a big wind, those locusts will blow over. So we'll coordinate with her and do what we can. So like I said, I've been working closely with those adjoining neighbors to make sure that we're a good neighbor.
Great, thank you. Another question I have is if you go to the lot preliminary plat. So I was looking at the sidewalk cutouts. I don't know how, like when that information gets finalized, like where the sidewalk cutouts go, if it's in this phase or if it's somewhere else. But you do have a number of cutouts here in this preliminary plat. And so I was wondering that the road that's on that west side,
Yes.
if somebody's trying to cross into that in that triangle or that intersection right there,
Mhm.
there's not a I didn't see a cutout go.
We will have detached walks all along here. So there's landscaping there. We've allocated,
So I think she's talking about being able to cross the street, right?
I
Exactly.
mean, as
crossing
far
the
as like a
street.
ped ramp.
Yes.
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 Okay, so on the preliminary plats, the ped ramps are there. They're just so small, you don't see them. So yes, there would be a pedestrian friendly crossing coming across there. And then we would have detached sidewalks along both sides and pedestrian ramps coming across that intersection.
Okay, and on the map, if you zoom in, they aren't on, that ramp isn't there on the south side. Yeah, southwest and southeast of that intersection.
They're just kind of hard to see. You've got to almost look at this, if I may.
Sure.
Mayor. So these are the pedestrian ramps right here.
Yeah.
That come across. So we come across here, come across here, come across here, come across there.
There's not one going this
Yeah,
way.
well, she forgot that.
Okay,
That's
So-
just- yeah. But
so I
these will be
noticed it
detached.
in that spot, and then there was another one as well. Oh. Up by.
You can make it a
Napier.
condition to make sure they're all there too.
Okay, so I think it's important to also add a ramp on the west side of, let's see, Foxton Way up by Napier Street. So if somebody wants to cross, if they're on that west sidewalk onto Napier Street. I did not see a cutout along there either.
Yes, that's Ada County Highway District will require when they review our construction plans that we have a pedestrian ADA approved ramp So we have a pedestrian friendly crossing in both directions.
Okay.
And then as far as a curb cut here, I have a common lot right here. And then this is the driveway into Carrie Knott's property. So we've indicated that we will do a radius here so they can turn in with like their horse trailers and stuff off of our public street. We will coordinate that with her. And so all of this western boundary will be landscaped. It'll be ACHD right away to the boundary, but we will do a license agreement for the landscaping. And as you can see on that drawing, that there's significant amount of landscaping. So it's not just going to be a road right up to the boundary. When you look at the drawing on a small scale, it kind of looks that way.
Okay, Miss Becky, on the lights on this project, we're really pushing our dark sky.
Yes, sir.
And so the lights like you had at Ameristar would be somewhat we want, not the lights that have been used in, what's the one? Clean Vista and those areas that are just down the road. So it's more of a down style light like they have
Mr.
in-
Mayor, we
Yeah.
did submit with our application, the same specifications of lights we used in American Star.
Perfect.
So it is part of our application and we are in agreement with that.
Okay, and then on the proportionate share, I know you was still working out the details of the pricing of the proportionate share. But I just want to make sure that we have it set up to where that the proportionate share it can't be paid by lot. It has to be paid by phase.
Yes, sir. We understand that. We're in
So
agreement.
phase 1 and phase 2,
Yes.
we could break that out like that. And then so this is becoming, this may sound trivial, but mailboxes.
Mailbox clusters? Yes.
What are they planning on doing for mailbox clusters for this? Because I know the post office gives us some grief about this, but what I don't want to see is just them lined up
A
against
bank,
the road.
a
Yeah, just a
bank of
bank.
them.
It just looks unattractive.
So Sherry at my office, our other planner sent a copy of this over to the postmaster here in Star. And he looks at these from their perspective that they want to just make one stop.
Right.
And so like on Rosti Farms, I had to go personally meet with him and convince him that, you can't have people, we need to have multiple locations, not just one humongous bank of them. So if you guys could possibly give him some feedback.
I think that's on Sean and I's radar anyway.
And meet with him that, obviously we want to make it efficient for delivery, but aesthetics are also important. And practicality. We want to locate them where, people aren't stacking up. And if we can split them up into like a couple of groups, then I think we get a better aesthetic view than just one huge bank.
Right.
But your feedback with the postmaster would be appreciated.
So if we can try to push that they're not buying people's houses or they look at them straight across the street.
Right.
Best, because that's some of the grief that we hear from people right now in some of the current subdivisions that are going on. So.
Yeah, they're trying to make it so, if they have their way, it's just one stop for them.
Okay.
But we've got to look at the big picture.
All right, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else for the applicant?
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman
I actually have
Keyes?
a question for staff here real quick. I'm curious if staff has a position on the trust bonus room issue.
I don't. That's something we'd have to talk to our building official about to see if, I'm assuming he's gonna side with what Eagle does as far as looking at that as a one story, but I can't make that decision.
So I guess my thinking is, as long as there's not a second story wall, I think I'm inclined to treat it as a single story. So.
Yeah.
But you can put it in as a condition after review with our
Yes.
inspector, right? Okay. All right.
Yeah, and I believe, Mr. Mayor, I believe Meridian has approached them the same way. That they consider it the bonus room if it's integrated like that. It's a single story structure.
And what it might require, Mr. Mayor and Council, is for me to get some wording from our building official to build into that condition.
Okay.
That would be acceptable. Thank you.
And then I guess on the 33-foot roadway section, we'll let you do that one over since you're new here.
Thank you. I had to screw up something.
All right, any further questions of the applicant or staff right now? Okay, we're gonna move on to the public testimony. Mr. Gary Maidenford, Ford. I think Ryan's gonna be bringing him in on here, so. About 10 total. About, that's including Zoom. No, you can sit here and listen. Yeah. I just want to make sure that, so you can hear that. Are you Mr. Gary Maidenford? All right, I'll have you come up to the podium, sir. State your name and address for the record, and you have about 3 minutes, okay?
My name is Gary Maidenford. I'm at 3605 North Pollard Lane, and I've been there for 9 years. My property borders the north end of this subdivision, and I'm here to speak in favor of it. I really like the way it's designed. The thing I like the most is they are going to, I'm sorry, out of breath. They're going to put in upper end homes, and that typically means upper end neighbors, which typically means a lot of friends, and I really like that.
Okay.
And a couple quick issues. While I've been there, I've had the police and the fire department out a number of times, and they are efficient, they're effective, and I just can't see how this subdivision is going to have much of an impact on them. They're good at what they do. The roads out there, I think, are underutilized. We could handle a lot more traffic. So I think that's a non-issue also. One of the things I heard is that some folks are against having the subdivision. However, they had the opportunity to option the land, buy the land and keep it vacant, and it wasn't important enough for them to do it. I heard that some folks want to propose 1 acre lot subdivision. Well, they had the option to option the land, put a map together and bring it to you, but it wasn't important enough for them to do that. I think if you're going to put in a subdivision, do one like this. It's got the right kind of density, it's got amenities. It's you're going to have nice homes, you're going to have good neighbors. It's going to bring in good revenue for the city. And I think it's a great project. And the last thing I'd like to say is I kind of been following what the city council, the mayor has been doing over the years. I've been there 9 years. And you guys have been doing a great job. I really appreciate your time, your effort, and your wisdom in the things that you've done. So thank you very much. And if you find it in your heart, I'd recommend you approve this just the way it is because it's a great subdivision.
Okay, awesome.
Thank you.
Appreciate your comments, your kind words too. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mainford.
All right. Thank you. Yes. I think he has the list out there. Yeah. I think, are you Miss Carey? So he's bringing them in like that. Perfect. It's your turn, ma'am. Sorry. State your name and address for the record.
My name's Carrie Knotts, and I live at 9600 West Beacon Light. And there's just a few things that I want to discuss. I want to make sure that the Farm Act is in their CCNRs for the subdivision. We do have livestock, and I just want to make sure that what we're doing, we can continue to do. Yep. I would like a 6-foot berm and a 6-foot fence on the street side. And I don't know if we're actually discussing that at this time. That would be more north.
And you're the property on the top
I'm
there,
the
right?
little farm, yes.
Okay, all right.
Farmhouse at the top where they're going to be going across and then in front of our property. So along there, I would like a 6-foot berm and 6-foot fence and proper fencing all around our property that is for livestock. Becky discussed the trees and the roses, and we'll talk about that. I would like also, since we are farming and have livestock, we have mobile butchers coming in, tractors coming in. There's an ingress and an egress easement. And I would like us still to have access to that and not just use the public road.
Are you talking the easement right to the left of your, or to the west of your property going along?
Yes,
the
I am.
Top of
Uh-huh.
Barbara's, okay.
They're
Very
going to
good,
be
thank you.
crossing over that easement. I'd still like to have access to that. Especially considering when we bring in tractors and trailers, there's mud all over the tires and the public roads will end up pretty filthy. I'd also like to ask on lot 62 and 63 that actually back up to our property, that's our front yard. If there would be no 2-story or RV garage homes, just on 62 and 63.
So
Mr. Mayor, I believe that's 66 and 67.
66 and 67 on the
on the
updated one that
revised.
we have.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I
Thank you
think we
very
have,
much.
we understand what you're asking there.
Thank
Okay?
you. I understand that they will be giving us underground power and hooking it up to our home. I would also like to ask that I will be putting in an electric gate at our driveway there. Number one, for protection so that the livestock doesn't get out. And I would like to have them use their electrician to hook up that power. I will do the gate if they can do the, use their electrician.
Okay. 10 seconds.
I just want to make it clear on the access that we will have to the irrigation. I'm a little confused on that.
Okay. We'll have her talk to that when she rebuts at the end.
Okay,
So, and so when you, when you're done, if you want to wait, you won't be able to wait and hear the here, but
Right.
if you go out there and listen, it'll be on the TV. So you can hear that and then maybe you can hook up afterwards to clarify it.
okay. That's all then.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. Okay. Chad? Okay, Mr. Chad Gillis, state your name and address for the record, sir, and you have 3 minutes.
Chad Gillis, 3401 North Pollard, and I am here for my father as well that resides at 3405 North Pollard. On the properties there, we border we're the 3 parcels that border on the, what would be the northeast corner of the property. We also share a diversion box there of the water that goes to Star Acres, and then also continues down along the east side of the property down towards Beacon Light. We talked with them with the design of it. They've accommodated us with burying that ditch on that lateral with the settling pond down there, talking about the sand and the fine sands that come down that lateral. We fight them on the regular basis every year, have to be cleaned out every year. They talked about keeping those settling ponds on that property down off of Beacon Light, which has been good. They've been talked about piping that ditch that borders our property on our 3 parcels there. With the diversion box, it's right on the northeast corner of the property. They will redo that. That diverts there at the water that goes to, I believe, Star Acres. That's on the north side of the property. With that being said, the only thing that is with that, we just asked them to be able to give access to that diversion box on the northeast corner. So people can access that. Over the years, they've accessed it through our property, which have been neighbors that we have known for years. I have lived there since 1992. That's when we moved there. And I farmed the property that they're proposing this on up until 2012. I farmed that personally myself. I know the amount of water that it takes in that ground. to irrigate it. It did use a lot of water. It's sandy soil. That was my only concern. And I believe as my father's that they will use as of water as irrigation for the land, which I think this is a better suited fit versus bigger lots with people needing to irrigate that ground. I know that it will use a lot of water, and I know there was not much for shares for that property on the ag side. It was on the Shire part when we did farm that. The only thing that we had concerns with was that ditch. They have put it in writing that they will pipe it, they will fix it, they will put a fence along our property line. We like our profit, we like our privacy. The only thing else left to said there is, I guess, that we are for it. So.
Awesome. Appreciate your time, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Pickens. Name and address for the record, please.
John Pickens, address 10200 West Scenic View Lane. Good evening, Mr. Mayor and City Council members. Hey, thanks for having me up here. I know I'm usually against all this development, but I'm switching on these guys. I'm for these guys. I was just out there begging the TO rep if he could take over Hayden Homes and stop the military barracks look. And he said he wished he could, but he could only do what he could do. Anyways, it's refreshing to see bigger lots coming up against our acreage lots. And they actually look like they have pride in what they do compared to just taking the quick buck and running. Anyways, that's all I had to say. I'm in favor for it and wish we could do some more of ones like this. If we have to have development, I'm glad it's something like this.
Okay.
Have a good evening.
Thank you. Okay, then we're going to move to the Zoom calls. Miss Barbara, do we have Miss Carolyn Thompson on? Oh, Mike.
Yeah, Mike Thompson's on.
Mike Thompson. Is Carolyn there as well?
She is actually occupied at the second.
Okay, are you okay, so I'm gonna have you go and just state your name and address for the record, sir. And you got 3 minutes, okay?
Yeah, so Michael Thompson, 3301 North Pollard Lane. So as much as I hate losing my view and hate having the field go behind us, understand it. So I do have a couple concerns. One, I feel like I'm the only one left out of the party. Everyone around me's been talked to, but no one's made contact with us. My big concerns are, drainage. Matter of fact, Chad Gillis last year or this summer helped me deal with the ditch that was flooding onto my property and flooding my wife's ceramic shop. So one of the concerns obviously is making sure that that piping doesn't flood since I am downgrade from the property. That leads me to another issue is right now, because there's lots of sandy soil, I don't have to worry about flooding. I'm concerned about the grade, where my property exists. As we start adding more homes with grass, that's going to change the absorption rate of the water. And I'm more concerned about actually potentially causing, water flooding. So I'm just curious if there's been any sort of water studies once the neighborhood's fully developed. Two, just curious about the completion for phase one, when they're going to start it and when the completion time is once I imagine the council's going to approve this. The other aspect of it is the trees along my property line. We share trees that where the power lines are, and they're part of the easement, I imagine. My objective is they provide privacy. And so, if we can try avoiding cutting down trees unless it's absolutely necessary, that's kind of a objective of mine. And the last part is anywhere there's properties butting up, again, real big on privacy. And so hopefully there's an adequate fencing along my property line to kind of keep what I have. And that's it. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you, sir. Mr. Thompson, is Carolyn available to speak? She was signed up, or should we come back to
Yeah.
her here?
I think you guys can move on.
Okay, all right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, we have Mr. Cody Larson.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council. Appreciate your time. 9393 West Beacon Light. I'm the property just to the south and across the road there. My biggest concern with this development is the settling pond that's been talked about on a time or two. As near as I can tell, and from what I've listened to, there's a proposed sidewalk that's down along that settling pond. I would really like to see either some fencing that what I'm worried about is people trash and that kind of stuff getting in that settling pond and plugging up that culvert that goes across the Beacon Light and onto that box that's on my property and onto Star Acres. So I'm hoping there's some discussion about what that fence needs to look like and how we can make sure that that pond is protected for people downstream. I second the thoughts of my neighbors there to the north about protecting their privacy, whether it be fencing or trees. I'm faced with the same dilemma on the other proposed development, but I have their back as far as that privacy is concerned. And that's all I have.
All right. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
You bet.
Mr. Robert Faylau.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. State your name and address, sir. For
Yes, yeah, I don't know if you can see my video. It won't unclick. My name is Robert Faylau. I'm at 2203 North Sunny Lane on Star Acres. Thank you, Mayor and Council. I think that overall this proposal is a lot, there's a lot of improvements with the larger lots and the park strips and the higher end homes. As far as Star Acres goes, I think that there's some people that are concerned about, there was mention about how much water will or will not be used on that lateral that then comes down into Star Acres in terms of whether or not we're going to get either more of the share than we had or less. I guess my main concern is really the number and increase in the number of homes. I know that since there's only 74 homes in this, that Ada County did not require impact study. But if you add up all the different homes that are in that basic area of Beacon Light and Wing that are being proposed to be developed, there's over 900 homes. And I would like to ask whether or not that the sum total of all those homes is actually, taken into account in the development summary of the traffic studies. I was wondering if there was a response from the school district that I normally see on the subdivisions, because there's really no space in schools for any of the children that'll be moving into these subdivisions, as well as Compass's statement that the proposed growth exceeds the forecast in the area. So I guess my question would be, does the council feel that there's a point at some point where it's not appropriate to continue to accept requests for new subdivisions based upon the number of homes that are going up in this area? And I feel that the density and the amount of homes is just exploding. The property to the northwest of this development is owned by the same owner. That's why that stub road goes to the north. That will also be developed, as well as some others that are around that. It's just, I don't know how the roads or the infrastructure will be able to support that many new homes. So other than the ditch water that she can reply to, it's mostly concerns about just the continuing number of homes. Overall, I think that they've done a they're doing a great job to try and make the lots larger, do the park strips, and do a higher end home, which I think is better than a lot of the subdivisions being proposed. So I guess that would be my comments, and I appreciate your time. Thank you, council.
Thank you. Okay, and then we have, I believe, is Miss Barbara Moyle here? There you are. Okay, you can come up here and speak, Miss Barbara Moyle. State your name and address again, please, for the record, and you have 3 minutes.
My name is Barbara Moyle, and I live at 9800 West Beacon Light Road, Star. And my property is just to the west of this proposed development. And I am for it, and they have addressed all of my concerns. And I like the size of this compared to what it could be. And I hope that you will vote for it, approve it.
Okay, thank you. Okay, that's all that we had signed up to speak. We'll bring the applicant back up. Ms. Becky?
Yes, sir. Becky McKay, Engineering Solutions.
Can you pull that mic down just a little bit? Thank you. That'll work.
I thought I talked loud enough.
Well, you do, but I just want to make sure everybody out there can hear, because sometimes
Okay.
we have that challenge, so.
I'll kind of go through some of the comments that we received from the adjoining neighbors. As far as the easement that Carrie Knotts referred to, that is a recorded easement, and then it goes down into Barbara Moyle's property. So technically that is off-site from what is before the council today. I obviously don't have any authority to speak on that easement, and I've seen her deed. The deed refers to the easement, but I don't know if at such time as public street access is provided, if that easement is then therefore relinquished, or that's a legal question that's out of my purview.
So just real quick, so since that easement's on that property to the north.
Right, it comes and then wraps down into Barbara Moyle's property down to Beacon Light.
Okay, so you don't have any control.
I
on
don't
that
have any
easement.
control over
All right.
it. We can't make any promises to her because it's not on our subject property.
Okay.
Concerning the single story question here on lot 66 and lot 67, it's always hard. I mean, everybody has the right to build either a single story or a two-story home. I've had occasions, it's been rare, where a council, Meridian City Council at one point in time required that I had reserved 3 lots for single story homes only. And then as the lot numbers changed, when the final plats came in, there was confusion on which 3 lots were designated as single story. And all of a sudden, a 2-story home got framed on a single story lot. And then we had a problem. And so from that point on, when that issue has come up, most city councils are reluctant to restrict single story on lots because it's really hard to track it over time, because permits may be issued on those 2 lots. That's in the second phase. That may be 2 years down the road. The lot numbers change as we do the final plats. But obviously we would leave that up to the council's determination.
So
I always feel like you have the right to build a single story or 2-story. The maximum height's 35.
So the Star City Council.
Yes, sir.
We're very into protecting the people that are there with stuff like that.
Okay.
And so if it was something, I know you guys talked about, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I just to kind of, we talked about, you were trying to purchase that property or something at one point. I'm not sure.
We had, an offer was made. Yes, sir.
So if we were to say single story houses, if it does get purchased, then we could come back and change that to 2-story.
It'd be a condition of approval of the preliminary plat. So we'd be saddled with it.
Well, with a single story, but I mean, maybe she never sells. right?
Correct. That's, yes, sir.
And so at least it protects her on those 2 pieces of property. But if it does sell, I mean, can we make it a condition, Sean, that That says if that, as the subject property sells, then
Then
they
it
can
wouldn't
go
be
back.
applicable?
Then it wouldn't
Yes,
be
sir.
applicable, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
My client says he is in agreement with that.
Okay.
Concerning the electric gate, bringing underground power to her home, switching out the box from overhead power to underground power. I mean, that's obviously, we're creating the situation that that's mandating that her power be changed. As far as running power to her electric gate, I'd prefer not to be responsible for that. That's something that's typically, I mean, the power will be trenched over. Obviously, if they want to put an electric gate at their driveway, it has to be inset 50 feet from their boundary. I don't know, is that 220, 110? I have no clue. I guess that's something that should be left up to that homeowner if they choose to have an electric gate. I don't believe that we are warranting that electric gate. Access to the irrigation box. That irrigation box is located right there. And I have a 10-foot separate common lot that goes right to the box. So they can come in, they can come in across this area here, or they can come in and get to their box and turn their head gate to get their water. So yes, we do agree to make sure that they have access to their irrigation box. Mr. Gillis was very pleased that he's happy with our project. We have agreed to pipe this East Emmett east side lateral here. We'll pipe it down to this location and then it will be open here. The box, there's a box right here. Typically when we pipe, then we'll replace those boxes. As far as access to the box, we'll have to work with Mr. Maidenford and the Gillises, making sure that everybody has access to that box. There are 60 inches that, this is a diversion box. It sends 60 inches this way to Star Acres, and it sends 60 inches this way. We will not be changing as far as the water delivery on their amount of water. It will remain at 60 inches. That's what Farmers Union has indicated. And so we'll provide obviously the hydraulics to verify that our pipe is of size and grade to accommodate the 60 inches. Fencing, as far as the privacy, we talked about fencing earlier today. They plan on doing like premium vinyl fencing. Not just the white or the tan, but it's got a kind of a wood look, bronzish wood type look to it. So their intent is, because these are higher end homes, they will be putting premium fencing around the periphery of the project and within the project. Mr. Pickens indicated that he's supportive of the project. He lives off Scenic View. That's awesome. Mike Thompson on Pollard talked about the drainage. He indicated that they had some flooding issues. I assume it was probably due to this open ditch. When I was out there, it was kind of overgrown. Obviously, when we put that in pipe, then that would eliminate the possibility of that ditch plugging and overflowing into his property.
So real quick, Ms. Becky, so how far is that pipe going? Is it just going to the
We
open
will
area?
pipe it down to this point, and then we're going to come in and improve it right through here. And we have to leave that settling pond. That is a mandate of Farmers Union.
So just so I think it's gonna, when
We'll
it pipes
pipe it-
down, it's gonna jaunt to the west, right?
Correct.
Away from the property line?
Correct. It will come across here.
Okay.
So right now it's off-site. Technically that lateral is off our site here, and then it kind of drifts on site right here, and then it keeps drifting right here.
Okay.
And so we'll clean it out. We'll go in. We're gonna obviously do kind of a natural riparian area. As far as matching Mr. Thompson's grades, The city engineer reviews our construction plans to make sure that we're not draining onto his property with any of our lot drainage. We'll obviously have install privacy fencing. There are some trees located right here. We'll obviously work with him to try to retain trees. Since that's a 1.1 acre common lot, we like to try to retain the trees if they're in good health. And like I said, not going to create any type of hazard to either the neighbor or ourselves. So I don't think that that is an issue. As far as the pathway was brought up by Cody Larson. The pathway will be tucked right up near the lots. So if you put the landscape plan up, Mr. Mayor, the colored one might be easier for you to, there you go. So that pathway comes out of the cul-de-sac and you can see it's hugging the lots right there. So there's 5 feet of landscaping and then we have the 5-foot pathway. So we're keeping it adjacent to the lots. And then this goes up in elevation. So this is kind of elevated right through here. So it will be, obviously the path would be at that toe of slope, not next to the ditch. We're not going to create any ditch safety issues. When I walked up and down here, kind of looking and doing an assessment of those ponds and the waterway. And we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna make it a nice kind of natural area. Right now, it's just been more utilitarian from an agricultural perspective for those settling ponds, but we do have to retain and protect those. Mr. Fallow with Star Acres wanted to verify that he will continue to receive his shares. Obviously, we will continue to send his 60 shares to him. And we're going to be piping and upsizing the pipe. So hopefully it will improve his irrigation. I do not see that it would decrease the flow or cause any impediment to him receiving his allotted water rights. Traffic was brought up. A traffic count was done on Beacon Light east of Pollard in October of this year. The current traffic is 2,694 vehicle trips per day. So for a minor arterial, I mean, that I have those on my collector roadways in my larger subdivision. You know, we'll send 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 trips per day along a collector. So that's obviously less than a collector volume that's out there now. He asked the question, does the highway district, when they're analyzing this project and the impact on the transportation system, do they take into consideration the other projects that have been approved or that are contemplated in this area? To answer his question, yes, in our ACHD report, it does list all the proposed adjacent developments, the River Creek Landing, Sunfield Estates, Canvasback, Canopy Estates, Greendale Grove, and Greendale. And then obviously Trident Ridge. So yes, the highway district, in looking at our build out and the impact on that system and whether capacity exists to handle our traffic, it does. Everything is operating at an acceptable level based on ACHD policy manual. School capacity, Sean handed me the school letter. It indicated that there's capacity in the Star Elementary, has 650 capacity. Its current enrollment's 547. Star Middle has 1,000 capacity. Its current enrollment's at 709. The only school that is in excess of its capacity is Eagle High School, which has a capacity of 1,800 and there's 2,100 students. I know I'm talking with Joe Yoakum. They are obviously trying to accelerate new schools, and obviously that's subject to passage of bonds.
So I'm gonna just, for the high school portion of it, there is a new map that came out of what the school district's doing for boundaries.
Yes, sir.
And Star kids are gonna be sent to Owyhee High School. So that's a
It'll
brand
be-
new school. So, so capacity wise, we don't know what that means yet
Right,
over
that,
there,
that comes
so.
on in,
This
fall-
year,
Fall.
this next fall,
Yeah,
yes.
fall of 2021. Yes,
Mm.
I have projects that are near the Owyhee High School. So yeah, that, they'll redraw the boundaries and obviously bring those schools back within their capacity boundaries. We have a good project here. I'm real proud of it. We've worked hard with your staff, with the highway district, with the neighbors. You guys approved Sunfield subdivision here a few weeks back. This project has larger lots, larger average lot size than Sunfield, which had 10,000, a little over 10,000 square feet, and ours are 10,600. Our minimum lot size, I think, is 8,400 square feet, and theirs was 7,225.
So you got a few more minutes.
We've got a good project. I think we're providing what the city of Star has been asking the developers to step up. The landscaping we show here is just, you know, kind of the minimum that we put on the plan. The developer wanted me to express to the council that it is their intent to landscape the heck out of this and make it really look sharp. Obviously with values 400 to 600,000, it's going to warrant, it's going to have great curb appeal and warrant a lot of landscaping. As far as a central amenity like a clubhouse and pool, we are working on our concept plan to the north, and that would be located north of this and be available to these residents. Thank you, sir.
Okay, any questions of the applicant?
Mr. Mayor.
Councilman Keys?
So I just want to clarify for the development agreement that we're going to put language in there that you're willing to participate in the proportionate share agreement with ITD, but we're not going to be specific on amounts until later, and I think that's fine. And then also I wanted to put a condition in the development agreement that the lots adjacent to the Knott's property would be limited to single story, and that condition is to be rescinded if that property is sold.
Thank you, sir.
Is that
We are in agreement.
agreeable? Okay, so
I think you said yes, right? Yeah.
okay. Okay, so those are the questions I had. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, any further?
Just one, Mr. Mayor.
Councilman Hershey?
I may have missed it. When Carrie Knotts was talking, she spoke about a 6-foot berm.
That is outside of this particular phase here. So what she's talking about right now, we show the public street stopping here, but we're gonna do like a curb cut here for her to get in and out of this public street. Eventually, in the next preliminary plat, the street will come up here. So the 6-foot berm she's talking about would be off-site right here. Off-site.
Offsite, okay.
Correct.
It'd be on the future phase
Yes, sir.
or future development up there, okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, any further questions or of the applicant? Any questions of the staff? Okay, I'm going to close the public, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to close the public hearing and we're going to go to deliberations.
Mayor Chadwick,
Councilman Nielsen.
you know, I think it's been a long time that we've had so many people come forward in support of a development. And I think that says a lot to what this applicant has done to work with the surrounding folks. And I agree with Miss Becky's assessment that, you know, they've worked hard to try to realize what the City of Star's vision is. So I appreciate the concessions that have been made and the working, you know, the work that's been done with the neighbors on this particular application. I also appreciate the call out for the high density landscaping. I think that is a really important part of this, and I appreciate the desire to maintain those existing trees. So I'm looking at this and thinking that, yeah, this is what we've envisioned and tried to put in our code to encourage developers to bring to the City of Star. So I am in favor of proceeding with this application.
Okay. Further deliberation?
Mr. Mayor, I completely agree with the stipulations in the staff report plus the additional ones as Councilman Keys identified, I say we move forward with this. I mean, like you said, rarely do we get people coming in saying, yes, it's good.
Mr. Mayor?
Councilman Keys.
I concur with my colleagues. I think that this is the kind of project that we're looking for in Star. And I know the people in this rural area are not crazy about seeing things develop, but things are developing. And that being the case, I think this is the type of project that we'd like to see come in. And on that note, I'd like to make a motion to approve this application with the additions to the development agreement that we discussed earlier.
Specifically, that
they engage in the proportionate share agreement with the city and ITD, and that the lots adjacent to the Knott's property be limited to single story, with that condition to be rescinded if that property sells.
Okay, we got a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, any further discussion?
Mr. Mayor.
Okay, you're probably gonna bring up the same thing I was gonna bring up.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, what about the setbacks for a house with a bonus room? That was asked for too in this. Are we interested in entertaining that
Mr.
based
Mayor,
on?
what I was going to suggest is that let me talk to Dot, our building official, and if it is deemed appropriate to have a condition, I'll bring that back at findings and we can review that at that time. If he agrees that it's a single story, then we don't need a condition.
Would it be beneficial to just state that here now that the council is in support of that pending the appropriate language being, added by our building department?
Yeah.
And your motion.
Okay, would you want to modify your?
I'll amend my motion accordingly.
Okay,
And second amended.
okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that motion carries. Thank you. Okay, on to item 7B, the Transportation Committee. Who do we have on? Is John on? So we'll have John come on. Oh, did Becky leave? Oh, you always duck down behind this podium and I can't see. I want to make sure you get your thumb drive here. Yes.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir. Okay, sounds good. Thank you, sir. Is this one yours? This one?
The one with this, yep.
Okay. There you go. Okay, so we have, is Mr. Tinson on? Can you hear me, John?
I can hear you.
So hang on one sec. I'm going to pull up the eCamp map here. And where did Sean go? Was he going to be part of this or is it just? All right, hang on, John. We're going to give it just a few seconds here for Sean to get back in here because I know he was part of you guys putting all this together. So. Sean?
Yes.
Okay, we got Sean back. So Mr. John's going to do the presentation, right? Okay, go ahead, sir.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, my name is John Tenson. I'm chairman of the Star Transportation Committee. I'm here tonight to recommend the city council approve an update to the eCamp map, which is a short acronym for Economic Corridors and Roadways Connection Management Plan. The last update to this map was approved by the city council on February 11, 2020. This update includes the following revisions. We've added map typology to depict existing and future collectors, arterials, and state highways, so that kind of sticks out on the map. We've added updates. We've updated it to reflect traffic signals that have been added, recommended, or approved since the last update. We've updated it to reflect new development that's occurred. We did find some errors in the map that we've corrected. And lastly, we added a notation for the hope for future park and ride facilities on Highway 44 and Highway 2026. The Transportation Committee has been working with Sean Nichols on the update. On December 2nd, Transportation Committee met to review the completed update and voted unanimously to recommend the City Council approve the updated map and to incorporate the map into the comprehensive plan. So with that, I think Sean and I are prepared to answer any questions.
We have a couple people that want to talk to this as well, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so,
Maxine Combs?
okay, you can come up, state your name and address, please, for the record, and got 3 minutes.
Okay, Mayor, City Council, thank you. My name is Maxine McCombs. I live at 2211 North Shriner Lane here in Star. And I am here concerning the, I lost it on my phone. the to be determined conceptual alignment proposed future road classified to be determined on West Rolling Hills. It's in pink. It starts on Brandon and it goes across Brandon, or excuse me, it goes across what is going to be the Canvasback subdivision, which is totally not aligning with this. And then it goes across Rolling Hills Drive, which is just what it says. It's a rolling road. It is lined with homes that have small children that play on those roads. It lines up with the end of where Rolling Hills goes north. That property at the end of that is Mark Fuller's property, who we have not, this came up rather late in the day today when we found out about it. We were not able to get a hold of Mark, but to align that road, it would take out his trees, his shop, and several other items further down the road. If you notice, the middle school is to the east of us. And if you keep that there, you're going to basically ruin our subdivision because it's a country subdivision. It's not going to be developed any further. And there is no reason to bring that through because you're going to run into the school property anyway. And we would ask that you deny that road the way it is listed on the map.
Okay.
Thank you.
I would have to agree with that on there because that road actually doesn't even line up with the main entrance into the middle school anyway on there. So I would say that we should remove that section between Brandon and Pollard on there.
Mr. Mayor and Council staff would agree with that.
Okay.
We'll just go ahead and remove that entire section between Brandon and Pollard.
Okay. And then, Mr. Faylau, are you there, sir?
I am.
There you go. Try it again.
Hear me at the same time? There we go. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you. So state your name and address again, sir.
Robert Faylau, 2203 North Sunny Lane. I live in Star Acres. I totally agree with the last statement that was made about the road going through on Rolling Hills all the way to Pollard. Because that will become a major thoroughfare to the school, and our neighborhood definitely will not support the traffic. So I agree, and I thank you very much for your vote to remove that. This was the first time I saw that tonight, and it really affected us. So I appreciate the fact that you're aware of that and you'll remove that. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. John or Sean, do you have anything further?
I do not.
So we're here. I'm sorry, John, I didn't cut you off.
No, I have nothing further.
Okay.
So, Mr. Mayor, upon adoption of this map this evening, we will also include it in the new comprehensive plan that we recently adopted last week.
Okay.
As an exhibit.
Any comments from council?
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Keys?
I think upon reflection, I think that the neighbors are correct. I think that we should remove that proposed collector from the map. And I think there's a lot of good work here. I think we're focusing on one thing that was probably an error, but I did want to also thank the committee because they put in a lot of hours. City staff's put in a lot of hours, and I think the map as a whole is a body of good work. But I do support removing West Rolling Hills, that one little extension.
Any further comments? I'd like to thank the committee as well, the Transportation Committee. They've done a great job on getting this map together and then modifying it for the needs of the city. So look forward to getting this thing approved so we can get this off to our transportation agencies as well, so they know where we stand as a city. So, all right, I'd entertain a motion to approve.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Keys.
I make a motion that we approve the revised eCamp map with the removal of the West Rolling Hill Drive or the Drive Road.
Drive, yeah.
Proposed collector between Brandon and Pollard.
I second that.
We got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that motion carries. Thank you guys for all your work on that. Appreciate it. And we'll move on to reports. Thank you. Sean, anything to report? Okay. Councilman Hershey?
Yes, met with the fire department again. It's our fire district. Nice to get back with them, and everything's going well. I just want to say Merry Christmas to all and a Happy New Year, because I think it's our last meeting, and if we're quick, we'll get out by 9.
Okay. Councilman Nielsen?
Thank you, Mayor Chadwick. You know, I want to also offer thanks to the Transportation Committee and city staff on putting that together. Appreciate that hard work. Also, thanks to Mayor, you and city staff for putting on a successful tree lighting and you know, an open house out there at our new 960 South Main property. You know, you'll probably talk about that a little bit, but that was a really fun event to go to. And catch up with some of the neighbors there, socially distant, you know, way, and to light the tree. And I'm really excited for that type of property to be in our city now and available to our citizens, and for all the things that are going to take place out there.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Keys?
Mr. Mayor, thank you. So I'd like to echo the thank you to you for bringing 960 Main across the finish line. I think that's a great facility and will be a great asset to our city for a long, long time. I'd also like to thank the people and city staff who've been involved in our document scanning effort. For those who don't know, we've been involved, or the city's been engaged in digitizing all of our paper records, and there were a lot of them. But it was long overdue. It's part of our ongoing effort to drag stars kicking and screaming into the latter half of the 20th century. I'd also like to report that I did attend the AIC Legislative Summit. There were a bunch of documents that came out of that I received via email that I forwarded to the Mayor and Council, and I would encourage you to look through those. There's actually some pretty interesting stuff in there, and that's all I've got, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, Councilwoman?
Just two things. The Pathway and Beautification Committee, we met last Saturday and did some cleaning up of the corner across from Maverick, and there's a sign up there, and dressed it up a little bit for the holidays. And I went home with lots of goat heads in my shoes that are no longer in that corner. So
They're in your yard.
yes, yeah, and in my carpet, unfortunately. And then the other item I have is our committee is meeting tomorrow here at 6:20 for our monthly meeting. So that's it. Thank you.
6:20.
Yes,
Odd
yeah,
time.
I know.
Okay.
That's what they decided.
All right, Chris, do you have anything, sir?
No, Mayor, I don't have anything.
Okay, thank you. I just was talking about the 960 Main. That's a great project for the city as well. I think we had a great tree lighting ceremony. I talked to 5 different families that had been here less than a week that were at that ceremony, which is incredible. From all the way from Tennessee to Southern California. So that was kind of fun to talk to those folks and some of the reasons why they chose Star. To go along with that, the fiber grant is completed. You heard Ms. Tina talk about that. So we have wireless public Wi-Fi nodes at 960 Main and over at Hunters Creek Park. We have some incredible speeds that I have never seen before with those wireless nodes, which is awesome. And especially here inside our city hall, it goes pretty quick as well. So that's a great benefit. I sent an email out to the principals of the schools this morning, letting them know of those being there. And they were really excited about that because they do have kids that are struggling with their Wi-Fi's at their homes. So they were excited about having that. Councilman Keys talked about our scanning project. That was completed, I think last Friday, right? I believe it was completed last Friday, 2 weeks ahead of what we anticipated to get completed. So all those files, all the old files are now on a hard drive or on an external hard drive and in the cloud. And we're working on the Trino system now to make it accessible for people to search for information. And then let's see. Oh, and then we have the building software project that's still going on. But I think we're going to get some of that turned over to us in January, I hope, right? Yeah. Which will be fantastic and help us out inside because we have, as you know, lots going on with building and stuff here. So that was great. I did get from just today, so I haven't really had a chance to review it, but the conceptuals for Hunters Creek Park from Ryan already. We approved it, last week, I think, and they already gave me some conceptuals and some budget numbers with that. So, well, you guys will probably see that on January 5th's meeting to approve, so we can get it out the bid and get it done before any of the sports seasons go on. I just want to say also, tell everybody Merry Christmas and have a happy, safe New Year. It's very important that we understand that we all need to try to stay healthy as best we can and keep our neighbors healthy. I had a great conversation with the CEO of a hospital last Friday with some of the House leadership of the state. And, just the concerns that they have with their hospital staff. They have staff members that have worked 20 days straight, 14-hour days. And they're starting to get a burnout, obviously, from that. And it's not about stopping the virus necessarily, it's about managing this virus until we can get to the herd immunity stage in our society. So do everything you can to stay healthy as best you can and stay as safe as you can. So with that said, we will adjourn the meeting at 8:58, David Hershey. Appreciate it.